they're kind of just going for the. He's based there. He has a place there, but they came back like the start of this year and stayed for 6 months. But then
Right.
yeah, they gone back there. He's sort of like I haven't spoken to him as much as I usually do. I think he's busy working on things there.
Okay. All right. Thought so. Yeah, I was asking Coach Jojo where Phil was because we wanted to invite you guys together,
Yeah.
right? If
Well, I think we can arrange another day for you and Phil as well. Like I just yeah. I rarely speak to him at the moment. Like,
oh gosh.
compared to before. But I think yeah, as I said, he's probably still busy in the UK, and I think
Right.
my nephew has lots of work, so they're busy driving him around for modelling shoots.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
uh,
you've been very active, I think. Yeah, you've been going to football related activities, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's been fun. It's good. I'm gonna be sad when the World Cup's over. like,
I know, right?
it's good to
Yeah.
have football on. Like even now, we're gonna have. I'm sure there'll be a little break between like the knockout games. Like, it's boring, no games. Like,
Yeah, there's going to be one break, I think, on a Thursday before they
yeah.
resume for the quarters, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that this afternoon.
Oh, sure.
Let me just check the. I'm just going to get the link from our streaming,
Yeah.
and then I'll just share it to some groups so that they'll know that
Yeah.
you're on.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, hang on. Let me check.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I'll get the World Cup info on my iPad up.
All right. Great. 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 Let me let me do this for a sec. Get my phone and
Sure.
share it too. Yeah, we have like a lot of different Viber groups from
Okay.
from the different alumni
Yeah.
teams. So you have like
Yeah.
people who graduated from university, and they form all these different groups that play pickup games on the
Yeah.
weekend, and then there are
Okay.
tournaments.
Yeah.
So it
Yes.
keeps the spirit alive.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I left Fiverr. Though there was just too many groups. It became too
Oh,
many. Like that's why I left Fiverr. I said it's just too many apps, too many groups, and it's becomes quite tiring when you have too many. So I said
right, right.
I'll just Telegram I check now and then, but WhatsApp's the main one. WhatsApp is the main one I use.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's better. It makes your
Mm.
life, a lot simpler.
Yeah, it's just yeah. Fiverr's just a lot on there.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let me just share the streaming. All right. What's keeping you busy these days, James?
Working with Jojo really. We're working on some contractual projects, um, and then yeah. Actually, I could tell. Yeah, I'll be joining YFL this week. Not
Ah,
YFL.
okay.
Yeah, wait. WFL. Sorry, weekend football.
WFL,
Why am I saying
Weekend Football League.
YFL? Weekend football league. I'll be joining in tomorrow with Tala,
Oh,
Manila
really?
Tala FC.
You're playing for
Yes,
them, or are you going to be part of the management, or
I'll be
what's the
playing.
deal?
I'll be playing. I'm
Oh, you'll
just
be
gonna see
playing.
how. Yeah, I'm gonna play. So I'll be joining those boys tomorrow for a game, and then yeah, I
Ah,
just said
cool.
I need to get fit again. I'm not happy with my like what I was used to. I want to get fit again. So I said just learn to play, have fun, and yeah, just interact with other guys. If you work out on your own, it's so boring.
But you're right. Like, most of the people I know who started playing football after, because the deal here in the Philippines is after you graduated university, and if you played football like in the varsity team or for physical education, you don't get to play the sport anymore because no one really played after school. And
Yeah,
well, this was going on. Like, I came from a later generation, so back in the '90s, it was hard to find people to play with. And then,
Yeah.
2010 came in, and then they started building all these different artificial pitches here in the Philippines. And
Yeah.
people started, came back to the sport, and now, it's been ongoing.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
okay, let's start,
Sure.
James. Perhaps let's start with the question that everyone's asking, because they're all wondering about you. How's retirement treating you?
Um, First off, thanks, Ron, for having me. Retirement, it's some good, some not so good. like, no, it's the good thing is you got more. You get to try new things. You get to, for one, you get to be a bit more flexible with your schedule now, and you can
Right.
afford to treat yourself when you're at the dinner at the dinner table. You can afford to relax a bit with what you eat, and like, yeah, it's and trying some things new. It's exciting and different, and it's exciting learning different things. But yeah, retirement wise, I miss the game. I miss playing. As I just said to you now, like I'm looking forward to get back playing in some capacity. Whereas yeah, playing part time or just a kickabout now and then. But yeah, I miss the game. I miss playing for the Philippines. But uh, now and then I check my age of how old I am, and it's a reminder time does fly by. So
Hey, James, sorry about that. I think the the stream buffered a little bit. I
oh,
lost you
no
there.
worries.
Okay, so yeah, so you get to do a lot of personal stuff now more than ever
Yeah.
since you retired, and that's usually a good thing. So it gets really hectic if you're a professional football player. Like,
It does. It's like great and all. You get to travel around, and the thing is, yeah, people think you get to travel around and see all these great places, but you don't actually get to see these places because most of the time you're just stuck in you're training with the team, and you're traveling on the planes, on the buses, and you don't get to see the country itself. Only you'll be lucky to get 1 or 2 days where you get to go out and see the places, but you'll be in a hotel, and then if after the game it's either straight to the airport or straight to bed, and then you get up and you'll go back to fly to another place. So it's a good lifestyle, but yeah, it's uh, but now I've retired, I've got to travel a bit more and get to see more places. Really,
yeah, yeah, but it's really exciting for somebody who's just watching and keeping track of the Philippine football team, because
yeah,
I remember it. It coincided with the interest for football again back in 2009 or 2010, if I'm not mistaken, when you and Phil were you were recruited to play for the Philippine football team. And I
yeah,
think the term Azkals came about during that time, right? Because they started
yeah,
recruiting uh, Filipino expats or foreign bred players who have Filipino blood to play for the Filipino team. And that
yeah,
totally changed the perception of football here in the Philippines. The stat the stature of the sport grew because of
yeah.
you and your brother joining the
Oh,
team,
thank
and of
you.
course the other the other players coming in.
Yeah, yeah. That was a really good time. To be fair, like, when you retire, you look back at it, and I actually dug up loads of my old jerseys, my old all the old newspaper clippings, and me and my brother when we were like even when we were with Chelsea, the newspaper articles that our mum and dad kept, and like even some of the VHSs. That's how old it is. VHSs in the boxes, and then there's like the newspaper articles. I think, yeah, written by Sedell, like when me and my brother first played for the Sea Games team back in 2005, and we did all the Candy magazine shoots. We did all and then even some of the Showbiz magazines were featured in that, and it was a really great time, and I treasure those moments. And yeah, yeah, I'm still not like I'm like 80% sure this was the reason the name was called the team was called Azkals. But then I hear different stories. I'm like, that's what makes it cool. Like there's loads of myths and to the actual real story, and I think that's good. It's like every person has a different perspective of the term Azkals, and like it could be because of the recruitment of some of the new players, but then it could have been also how we have the underdogs like going into games, and I think it's
Yeah,
good to have that mixture of all those ideas, and there's a story towards it. So yeah, it was great times, and yeah, 2010 was the real start to it. And I'll be honest,
right.
I'm not sure many people know that me and Phil, like, and some of the other players, we were really just going into that tournament like we're just like we just really want to make the most of the in the moment and enjoy the moment of playing for the Philippines and getting to play in these great stadiums and against these nations that like the likes of Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and the other Southeast Asian countries who've invested a lot into the sport, and you get the chance to play in big crowds. And it wasn't about earning money at that time. It was
Right.
really just being a footballer and playing for your national team and really enjoying the moment. So it was a good time. We didn't actually picture that we'd have a nice, I'd say, a decade of enjoying Philippine football
Yeah.
developing.
But I don't know if you realize this, but you played a huge part in the resurgence of the sport here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
There was a time when people didn't really care about football. You know, it was always like basketball here in the Philippines, and then you guys came along. All of a
Mm.
sudden, like for some reason, maybe because you were like commercially, by what's this attractive. Like the players were good looking,
Oh,
and
thanks, Rob.
then you got all these women they started like following the team, and when
Yeah,
you go to like Rizal Memorial Coliseum, it's like predominantly women watching the games, and they're like enjoying the sport again. And then you have people like me who used to play the sport started coming back, and then the all these different pitches were constructed, and then they put up all these beautiful soccer fields that people can play in, and people took on the sport. And now
yeah,
I can truly say, compared to like a few decades ago, the sport has really grown into something that can, I think, hopefully will continue to grow in the next
yeah,
few years.
yeah, definitely,
So
Ron. It's
you played a huge part,
Oh,
James.
thank you very much. Yeah, I like to think I played a part. Yeah, especially during that the time when we played against the likes of when we played in the Suzuki Cup. Then I didn't really contribute much attacking wise, but I did a lot of running and defending. So I was like, I remember, yeah, I sweat a lot, and yeah, it was all of us sweated a lot, and it was a real grind as a team, and that's what made it sweet at the time. It was like we all really did work hard, and throughout the years we worked hard, and it was good to get that payoff and get the rewards. Really, being honest, and yeah, even now, like we talk about like the interest. That's it. That's what's the great thing about football and the sport. Like, even right now, we got the World Cup, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit. But
Yeah.
like you just see the likes of Korea and Japan doing well, and even Australia and representing Asia, and like even yeah, you get some of their players. They start off on this amount of followers, and then they score a goal, and then the next day their followers shoot up by millions. So
Oh yeah.
that's what we're living in at the moment. It's great. It's great that there's that platform and that opportunity for these players to to develop their careers and build their careers really. So it's yeah. And for us back then, it was really Twitter was the one, wasn't it? With yeah, we played in the Suzuki Cup, and then we played against Indonesia, and then our followers would all shoot up, and it was really great. I remember, yeah, me, Neil, Phil, and Anton, Ali, Chris, like, and all the other boys, Ray, like, and Rob, just all talking, like we'd all compare how much our followers had shot up. Like, what's yours on Twitter? Like, Instagram wasn't around then, so it was all Twitter followers. And like now, you just like you look at my followers have jumped up this much, my followers have jumped up this much, and it was
Right.
a really amazing time. And yeah, that's what I'd love to see for the future generation of all Filipino athletes in sports. Really, like have the opportunity and the platform to be rewarded for their hard work.
I've read something about the technical development of football as far as the teams are concerned. It's I'm sure it has developed like it's more advanced now the way they train players compared to
Yeah.
10 years ago. Like
Mhm.
so, for Japan or Korea do so well in this World Cup. Can you
Yeah.
explain to us, like people who haven't gone through what you've gone through as a professional player, the development of the game and how the technology now has improved the performances of all these different players who used to look up to the European players as more superior than the others in the different regions in the world.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll try my best to explain it, but yeah, with most things like there's been so much innovation in the sport. Really, I think like I was on the plane ride coming back from I think yeah, where was it coming from? Coming from I think either going towards the UK or coming back from the UK, and I was watching a documentary about the Premier League, how when Arsene Wenger came in and he came from Japan, and how he
Mm,
revolutionized, like how he completely changed Arsenal to make them like the title contenders they were against Manchester United back then. Like how he changed all the players' diet, all their training regime. It was all like folk and like cut no more alcohol, all like all like the best to build these athletes really. And yeah, you watch the World Cup now. You see Japan. You see like you see Japan. You see Korea. You see all the underdog teams compared to before. I mean, like playing against these nations who have got a great history of football and they're getting good results. And what I find amazing is you see them after the game, like these players, and they don't look out of breath. They
yeah,
don't look tired. They're so happy they won, but they're just breathing normally. But they've just played a long, hard game of intense football, and that's how high the competition is now, and how advanced the fitness levels are now of all these players playing. You just see, as you said, the technical part of like even just seeing the build up play, how each player like moves the ball quick now, and how the
right.
game is advanced. Like, and if you compared it to the footage back before, where the ball was going more direct, more longer, but
Mm.
now it's the ball is more like it how you compare it to what's that game in the arcade, the hockey one, where that's how fast the ball moves now. And
Right.
yeah, we're watching the Korea game versus Portugal, like how fast the ball moves, and that's how like, technical the game has become. And of course, yeah, as you said, the technology with how they're able to track VAR, to track offsides now, even having the computerized footballs like to track offsides. I don't know.
You
I'm
have like a chip
sort of
inside the ball, right?
yeah,
So they
exactly. I'm sort of leaning towards. I think it's great and all that split when like loads of money's on the line to determine and like to determine. But it's so close now when they say a shoulder was a little bit offside, and it's just like oh
or
my gosh, that
or just
it's really
recently when Japan won against Spain, and if you look at the ball, right, and the pundits, the people who were covering the games on BN, they were like, they were saying no, the ball was out. You were like from a vantage point from afar, they can see that the ball was out, but it really depends on the angles. But if since it's so precise, like any part of the ball that's over the line is still in, right? So
yeah
even if it looks like it would, it appears like it's out, it's actually in if you look overhead. So
yeah.
and
That's what I mean. Even me, I'm so confused. Like even Kevin De Bruyne said it. Like it became in the Premier League. I think it was. He said it on TV. He was like, they keep changing the rules. Us players, we don't even know the rules, and like ourselves, like myself, like I watch it and I'm like, I've been. This game has been the game of my life. It's something like it's my craft growing up, and I still don't know the rules because they keep changing. And I was like, yeah, that's what I mean. It's usually when they do of course they do the goal line check, don't they? When it hits off the crossbar, did it bounce over the line? Did it go over the line? And that's hard to tell because um, does the ball? It's the ball's in midair, and it's like they measured it that way. But it's like when he said the Japan game, the Japan Spain game, the the ball was on the ground, but the ball is circular, so it's like, how does it go over? Yes, the bottom part of the ball went over, but then the middle part of the ball didn't go over. I mean, it's just so like that's how much the game has developed. Like it's like it's a game of inches now, or even centimeters. It's so
Yeah.
close now, and the match speed is so fast. It's harder for referees to determine. It's not so black and white.
It gets sometimes it gets annoying for fans, especially the ones who are supporting a certain team who lost, right? Like for an offside that like a part of the body, a small part of body is like over the actual offside line, and it's called uh, offside when they just scored a beautiful goal from
Yeah,
from open play. So that gets frustrating for the fans, and and I'm sure for the ones who are watching at the stadium, once the goal, when the ball, gets is in the net, like they cheer, and then they're congratulating each other, and then they'll have to stop and wait for the VAR.
no, that's what I mean. It kind of takes the joy out of it, and it's like everyone's waiting around, and it's kind of like, I know it's like it's fine. It's the problem. My problem with that is, I actually maybe not so much the World Cup. But I always found the Premier League. It seems very inconsistent of when they use VAR. It's like they use it for this part, and you're like, okay, but then something else will happen. You're like, hey, that needs to be checked. But they're like, no, they didn't check it. It's like, why? It's just become very controversial, and like even you saw yesterday, Cavani after the game, he left the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah,
He pushed over the VAR monitor, and even the players are getting so
that's funny.
frustrated with it.
Yeah, they get
And
frustrated. I'm sure,
yeah,
but
it's just so
but I
wrong.
can imagine like you playing for the national team, like how important the games are and how you are so invested in the game emotionally. More so for players who are playing for the World Cup, which is the biggest tournament in the world, and for you to qualify there is already a big deal. And for you to lose like on the second round, and people are expecting your team to do well, I'm sure
Yeah,
it gets really frustrating. And for somebody like Luis Suarez, for example, whom I think is who played his last World Cup because he's of that age where he's about to retire, right? And
yep.
for people to see players cry over something like this is no surprise. Or maybe for somebody who's new to the sport, they are surprised with the fact that people players get really sentimental about the game.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
did you ever?
yeah, of course. It's very understandable because that's the thing with the World Cup. It happens every 4 years. It's not like it's not like in other games where you could be, there's always next game, but it's like, well, when the World Cup doesn't come around every year, every week, it comes every 4 years, and that's what makes it more valuable. Which is why I was kind of a bit when they were trying to make it every 2 years. I was like, I can sort of see why, but then you can sort of see why not. Like it's just that's what makes it so valuable and makes it so emotionally valuable to these players, such as the likes of Suarez at the moment, like Ronaldo, Messi, their last World Cups. Like for them, it's like this is the last. This is it in their lifetime. Like this is their last one. And these are guys who've they've had great careers, won so much, but they haven't won that World Cup yet. And it's just like it makes you wonder as well about Germany. Like Germany, ever since they won the World Cup, they haven't got out of the group stage, and it makes you wonder. They Are they satisfied because they've won the World Cup already? It's like, yeah, it's so rare as
Is
well.
it true? Is it true, James, that I've heard people say or experts say that, like for example, when teams play in the Champions League, which is the premier European tournament for European clubs, right? That
Yeah,
uh, it doesn't always follow that the best team wins the tournament. It's like there's like a luck of the draw sometimes, or they're in a momentum going into the games. And is that true also with the World Cup? Like it's not the best team who wins all the time.
um, would say it is the best team. The World Cup is different. Like the Champions League, that's become so dominant now with the big clubs, Real Madrid, uh, They just dominate. Before it used to be Barcelona, so dominant in Europe. Like you have the Italian clubs, the English clubs. Like, but the World Cup, I know what you mean. It's when everyone asks, like when I sit down, when I go to the bar with Georgia, or we're sitting down watching, everyone's like, "Who's your pick? Who's your pick?" And I'll
Right.
say it now. For this one, I said I'm going to go for a South American because the the humidity in Qatar will be a factor. But especially now with teams coming back from behind in the last minute, it's so hard to predict it. It's so hard to predict it, and the knockout stages, you do need a bit of luck, really. Like you do need a bit of luck. Like last night, we had Korea come back in the last minutes of the game against Portugal.
On in
Like,
extra time,
yeah, in extra
right?
time, and then even the first game, like of Germany and Japan, where Germany were 1-0 up, was like Japan, like Germany are so dominant, and then Japan went on to win 2-1, and it's usually like I would say the one who's going to win it is first off the team that takes their chances, like, and like you look at France now, they just look like they're so likes of Mbappe, just like so dominant going forward, like France, and then who else is there? Like it, I would say it's usually the team, but then it's team who deserves to win usually wins it. Like if you look back at all the years of the World Cup, it's always been they deserve to win it. They deserve to win it. There's never been that lot because it's so difficult to first off to qualify is a lot of work, and then to get out the group stages is a lot of work. Especially like no team in the groups has won all their 3 games. It was so close, and then you have but it's some teams may have an easy route. I'll be honest. I think England had easy routes in the last World Cup,
Right.
and
Yeah.
to get to the semi-finals. But but the ones who do win it usually deserve to win it because they're for one they got that desire and that consistency to carry out their game plan throughout the whole tournament. And in this tournament, you're going to need more than one plan. You're going to need plan A, plan B, plan C, because teams these days they're so good at like picking out players' team strengths and weaknesses that you're going to need to mix it up. So yeah, it's not to answer the question. The simple question is normal. The team that deserves to win usually deserves to win.
Okay. It's crazy because when Spain played Costa Rica in their group and beat them 7-0, 7-0,
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh no, Spain's going to win this." The way they were playing, it was unbelievable. The skill level, the passing, they were just the fluidity of the way they played that game is just it was just mesmerizing. And
yeah,
then they drew Germany, who lost to Japan. And then Japan went on to play Costa Rica and lose 1-0 in the end, like a last, like the only attempt on goal by Costa Rica, they make it, and Japan loses the game, and then you're like thinking, oh no, Japan just missed the opportunity there after beating Germany, and now they'll have to go through Spain, who just beat Costa Rica 7-0. So
yeah,
people were like, God, no, this it's over. And then they beat Spain 2-1, came from behind. So,
yeah.
that's what makes this Qatar World Cup very exciting, James. I mean, do you think Japan's got what it takes to go all the way, given the fact that they've been very brave playing against the traditional teams?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I've got it here now. I look at all. I was talking to my friend Graham earlier. We were talking about the games. Like, of course, I'm excited now because it's got to the knockout stages. No team can afford to lose. That they're out as soon as they lose. So you got USA Netherlands tonight, and I was like
Yeah,
excited for that. But I said like you never know. Like as you said, with with the games that are happening, no one could have predicted those results. Like let's be honest, no one could have predicted Saudi Arabia beating Argentina,
yeah,
and then Argentina go on to win the next 2 games. They're qualified, and Saudi Arabia they finish bottom. And then it's just like it's one where, say, in the World Cup you need a bit of luck as well, and you can't. It's as well. The thing I learned with football as well, it's like playing, especially league games, and it's it just depends on the day really. Like it just depends on the day. Things may go for you, things may go against you. Like so it's hard to call it. Like, but yeah, I think Japan. Looking how they're playing Croatia, aren't they? And I mean that'll be a good game. All these knockout games, it's really hard to call it. Really, it's. I think if you call it like based on their history, you say, "Oh, this," but then maybe only half of those predictions would be right by our luck, by
Yeah. Well,
guessing the
speaking
luck
of
of it all.
predictions, James, I was about to ask you this. Like, I have a list of all the matches that are coming our way this week. So, your brave thoughts on, what's your feel? What does your intuition say about these coming games? Like, for example, tonight, Netherlands versus USA. Who do you think will win tonight?
That's a tough one. I like the USA. I like visiting the USA. I like going on vacation there. You know, like, it's I've been very impressed with the USA lately. Like how they do the way they do soccer there. It's their development program's completely different to the way it's done in Europe, and I have respect for them to stick in that when they try and find different ways of doing things. And I'll be honest, I was disappointed when the England played USA game. That was so bad because stayed up till 3 a.m. watching that whole game. It was 0-0, and I was so disappointed. But now it's in the knockout stages. I don't think anyone can really afford to be too safe. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough
Were
one.
you
I'll
surprised
say,
though that England is one of the contenders for this World Cup, but the USA, how they controlled that game, was a bit surprising for a lot of people. Were you surprised that the US were playing really well against England?
not surprised because I know the quality that players they have. Pulisic, when he hit the crossbar, and most of their players now they're playing in Europe as well, and their coach, he seems to have got a good system in place with the right balance of the players in that team. But England, I think England, I was a bit, I don't want to be out of order here, but I was a bit their team selection wise, I was a bit surprised with some players. Like I think it was just more about how England set up, which made it. But I think USA could have nicked that game really, especially when they hit the bar. But yeah, I'll go for the first one. uh, I'll say I actually think it might go to penalties. The USA Netherlands one.
Oh,
I
really?
think,
And who's
yeah,
going to win it?
I'll go for USA. I'll go for USA.
All right. James says Netherlands versus USA. USA. Okay.
My apologies to Jason De Jong for saying that one.
All right. Next one is Argentina versus Australia. Australia has been very surprising this World Cup, but
I have Australian
Argentina is
friends as
the
well.
sentimental favorite. What do
Um,
you think?
I think Argentina will win this one. Yeah, I think they'll
Okay,
win this
Argentina. This may be Lionel Messi's last World Cup, so yeah, that's why
Yeah,
it's sentimental for a lot of his fans because they know this will be his last chance to actually win it. That's the only
yeah.
missing trophy that in his in his collection so far, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think that just shows how valuable the World Cup is, how difficult it is to win for the likes of Messi, Ronaldo. These guys are the two greatest, in my view, the two greatest, one and two, the greatest players ever. And um, they both haven't won the World Cup yet. And especially this being their last World Cup, because the next one will be 4 years in America. It'll be their last one. And like, it's like the way to end their careers. Like Ronaldo has said, if he wins it, though, he's retiring straight away. But we'll see.
Yeah, he said that. Okay, that's
Yeah, he said that
interesting.
on Piers Morgan. If Portugal win the World Cup, he's retiring. I know he doesn't
Okay.
mean that, but I think he'll just be like he can mentally relax now.
But for guys' age, right? Like this for a fact as a former player that when you reach your mid 30s, it gets harder for you to play against in at the professional level, right? Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Especially outfield players. Goalkeepers can play a bit longer, but for the outfield players which involves a bit more running, I think you have to change your game and adapt it to your age. Obviously, we see Ronaldo. He's a striker now, while before in his younger days he was more of a
A
winger.
winger.
Yeah, so you have to
Yeah.
change.
Speaking of age, James, there have been criticism and uh, rumored infighting in the Belgian camp, who got
Yeah,
eliminated recently, and the media have been calling their team as team old, like, like most of their most of their players are I don't most of their outfield field players are considered old for you know for for their standards. So what do you think of that? Is that a factor? Or they lost, or it's just they're having a hard time gelling as a team lately?
I think I said this to my friend Graham earlier. Like, I think Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in the world when he plays for Man City. Like,
Yeah.
but when I saw his stats in the Belgium games, he gave away the ball so much, and you can sense he's not the same player. And like Belgium before, like in the previous World Cups, and they have that golden generation of De Bruyne, Eden Hazard when he was in his prime, Lukaku when he would bang in goals, and it's a shame really. What it's just, but yeah, we kind of get that impression where they had this golden generation, and like De Bruyne apparently said it himself, he feels they're too old to win the World Cup, and you feel like they've sort of just relied on that golden generation rather than actually looking at bringing in the new generation. Um, so I kind of hope that Belgium moving forward they look at starting again and rebuilding their for the future tournaments, because they they have such great players, but we all get old, as we said when you said about the age.
Okay, so James, next matchup is Japan versus Croatia. You have Luka Modric in the very the fan favorite. I think I would say I could probably say Japan has been getting more fans because of the way they play. Do you think they can compete against Croatia, who was runner up in the 2021 European Championships?
Yeah, and they ran. It's a hard one, that one to call. So close. I think they're both ability-wise so close, but I don't know. I just see Croatia nicking it against
Mm,
Japan. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, we were like hoping since we belong in the same continent that there's going to be the first that we will have the first ever Asian team to win the World Cup. Do you think it's going to happen in our lifetime, James?
in our lifetime, possible. Just not this one, I don't think. The Asian, it's amazing. Like the Asian countries, how they've done so well. Like especially where football's not these countries' biggest sports. I mean, like sort of Australia. Like being honest, like football's not their soccer. Like, it's not their number one sport. But they've done so well to get out the group stages. It's amazing, and Japan as well. Like, but it's just the way they play. I think, as you said, that's why they gain so many fans. Just the way they play, it's really inspiring, and you can tell it's not about individuals. It's about them as a team and working hard to get the results. Really, I think that's the main difference now. Like you're getting these countries getting great results because of team performances and not individual ones.
Next one is Brazil versus South Korea, another Asian team
It's a tough.
representing the us here.
Yeah.
So Brazil, before they lost to Cameroon, people were thinking, oh, they're gonna just breeze through until the final. Brazil, but now questions are being asked after that loss to, to Cameroon. What do you think?
I still think Brazil. I still think Brazil.
Oh,
They knew
really?
they could. Yeah, they knew they could afford to lose the game. I know how it is where you feel you've qualified from the group already, and you feel you can afford to. You're sort of relaxed. Like, of course, you want all teams want to have a perfect record, but they're kind of like they'd rather save their energy and and prepare for the knockout stages really. So I think Brazil will win that one.
And then we have England versus Senegal.
England. I'll go for England.
For obvious reasons. Yeah, they're a very strong
Yeah.
team, right? Like if they play Foden,
Exactly. Like, yeah,
what's the deal there? Like Gareth Southgate has been getting a lot of some criticism about the way he's been using his players. They feel that Foden is one of the best players in the world, playing for Man City, and they're not using him as much. He's just he's just a substitute. What do you think of that, James?
Oh yeah, I've been very critical on Twitter about Southgate. I'm actually seeing. I'm like, seems like such a nice guy, but I can't. That's the position he's in. He's the coach. He's the one who selects these players, and
Right.
even there's lots of question marks on the squad he picked. The likes of Maguire, Shaw playing more because Maguire's not playing regularly for Manchester United, and like us being in the national team, that's the message we're always told, and you can understand it. That look, if you're not playing for your club team, how can you be selected for your country? Like I was going to say earlier actually about Hazard for Brazil, for Belgium. I was like, I didn't know. Does he still play regularly for Real Madrid? I know he's had a lot of injuries, but if Belgium are relying on Hazard to lead the team, it might be difficult. But I don't know. I don't follow Spanish football that much anymore. But England, yeah, they have such great talent, and I say the thing is they have such great talent and potential as individuals in their team, but you can sort of see why it's very imbalanced, and it's because the likes of Foden. I find Foden he plays for Matt. They said he's the best player, like one of City's best players, and City arguably one of the best teams in the world at the moment, and arguably the best team in the world. But maybe it's when you play football, you learn that different playing styles affect players. And with the way England play, which is being honest, they sit back, they sort of park the bus, and if you have the likes of Foden, who will be stronger if he's higher up the field, rather than if you're looking to play counter attack. So I can sort of understand why he doesn't play Foden. But I mean, when they were playing the USA, it was crying out for ages to make subs, and it took Southgate ages to make a sub. So I know, but like even Rashford, I'm surprised how well Rashford's doing. Like he scored. I actually didn't watch the game. I just woke up to see the highlights of his goals against Wales, and yeah, it was nice, and it's nice to see him more confident.
Yeah,
I just think it's like I don't want to be critical of England, but they have to remember they always do well when they play against the teams who are in this sort of level. But then once they come up against the elite, like in competition, they struggle, and it's because they're not used to that. And it's just the way we play, so England's one where I love England. I've got great history with them, but
they almost won though last year against Italy. That's
the thing. That's the thing. Well, okay, I'll go back to that game. I was watching that with my brother, and yeah, great start. Luke Shaw scoring, but the pros, they were so negative and mentally, like they were so scared. They score in like the first few minutes, and then after that they were so negative. They all defended rather than you should have gone out and try and get the second goal. Just treat it like you're 0-0 still, and you still have to get. And then once you go 2-0, I know it's easier said than done, but that was it. You had Harry Kane defending in his own middle when he's more dangerous in the attacking box. And again, that's the problem. And yeah, it was Italy, like they just passed the ball around. Even Italy, look at Italy; they're not in this World Cup, and they won the Euros.
Yeah. James, I have a question. As a player, like using the England Italy as an example during the Euros, do you get instructions from the coach on the sidelines, like to sit back because you just said that after they scored, they sort of like sat back and defended instead of just going for the jugular and attacking. Is that instruction come from because you don't have, like in basketball, you huddle, right? You can call a
Yeah.
timeout and then change strategy, but in football you go on and play. Like, how do you get instructions from the coach saying, hey, sit back, let's defend after scoring a goal?
Yeah, it is. That's the role of the coach. They make the decisions. They're the boss, and the players have to do everything the coach says. If not, the player's going to get substituted.
Oh.
So yeah, it's mainly that way, and that's why people are very fans of England are very critical of Southgate and they don't blame the players because they know that this is what they're being instructed to do. But yeah, England, I believe, they'll win Senegal and they'll likely face France in the next game. But if they do get to the final, they'll be very lucky. They'll be, so that's why luck will be on their side because it's just their style of play. It's not very creative. It's very just simple, part the bus, counter attack. And if we get one goal against the strong opposition, such as Italy before in the Euros, or in this one, if we get it against France, it's just if we go 1-0 up, we just defend and hold on to that lead, it's so sad to see, really, especially with the history England have and how it's meant to be the biggest thing in England.
You know what's crazy, James? England hasn't won it since 1966, and
Yeah.
the World Cup started in 1930. It's supposed to be the home of football. That's why there have been like this very famous slogan that English fans use now to bring the championship back home, right? Because it's been a while. It has to come home, and you don't feel like they're going to surprise you a little bit. Like later on, they're going to play their best game. They're saving the best for last, like when they play all these powerhouse teams.
England, yeah, no, it's how would I say this? No, it's always nice. There's always a running joke or meme online with England fans how they did even after the Iran when England played Iran and England won 6-2, and then people were like they all of a sudden question mark, is it coming home? But I always talk about it with Rob Gear. Like I asked what's the atmosphere like with England fans in England when it comes to England's national team. He's like, I think they really just they know that we're not a strong powerhouse team, but we sort of have to accept it and just it's more like we just hope that we win it rather than actually believe it. Like, oh yeah,
that's crazy.
All England fans would agree with me. But such great talent, but it's just so imbalanced. It's we haven't got the right unity of players to play similar to the likes of France and yeah.
James, this is not a new phenomenon. Like during the time of David Beckham, and remember that what they call the golden generation of the English team.
Oh yeah,
where they're supposed to be like a really really good team with the likes of Steven Gerrard and part of the team. And during the time of Glasgow and what do you think is the problem for people playing for the English team? Why can't they be as cohesive as the fans would want them to be, or the country to want them to be successful at the World Cup?
Well, I think you got a lot of players thrown together who come from different clubs, who have different playing styles. I mean, you said it right there. England always have a golden generation, but they all played at different clubs. I think you've hit hit the spot right there, Ron. With take England when Sven-Goran Eriksson was the coach, and they had Steven Gerrard, they had Frank Lampard. And Paul Scholes. And you could say three of the best midfielders in the world at the time.
Yeah.
But the problem was with the system, you could only choose two of them. Choose two out of three. And then the third one had to play left midfield.
Right.
And I think for those guys, I think Sven tried. I think he tried on the left, Gerrard and Scholes, but you're not using the strength of those players. But that's what I mean. England have always had a great. It's either they have a great selection of players in one position, and then they don't have a good player in this position. So it's been very imbalanced. And as I said, it's when you get players playing from different different club teams. They're so used to playing different styles of play that when they come to the national team, they're not used to playing with each other. And that's why, like, sort of, like, it really does make a difference. Preparation time, like this World Cup, these national teams haven't had much preparation time for the coach to get a system of play in before the tournament, because they've all come straight from their club duties.
Right.
So, unlike before, you look at like when Spain won it or when Germany won it, most of their players for Spain played for Barcelona, and then when Germany won it, most of their players at Bayern Munich. So, like, it's really, to get the best out of a team, you've got to have most of your players play regularly together, and like it just makes it easier for them to play and work the ball together. And yes, it really does help if they're playing more regularly with each other.
Right. I understand. So England, Senegal, yes, of course, England, France, Poland, France.
Yeah, France. I'll go for that one.
Okay. Morocco and Spain. Morocco is surprising.
Very surprising. Very surprising. But yeah, I see some of their players. I was like, oh, they got thingy playing for them, haven't you? Ziyech from Chelsea and Hakimi as well. So
yeah,
like, and then I see the way that I was watching when a replay of their game yesterday. I was like, they've got good players and they play actually really well. But yeah, I think Spain will get the nod on that one. So,
yeah, Spain. I like their two young midfielders, Gavi and Pedri. They're very promising, right?
Yeah, very clever. I'm very familiar with them, using them on FIFA.
James, you were a midfielder you were a midfielder yourself, James, when you played for the Philippines for the team. But was that your position ever since you started training for Chelsea before in their youth team?
Well, when I was at Chelsea, I'd play like right midfield, like the David Beckham role, and would just get crosses in the box. But then when Mourinho came in, it's sort of the game had evolved a bit, and midfield, like right midfielders or left midfielders, were sort of being phased out with more attacking wingers, and you'd get your fullbacks pushing higher. And then so I was converted to more of a fullback role, right back role, who would attack as much as I could. But then I was at Chelsea, and then when I came to the Philippines, I went back into midfield, and then towards the end of my career, I became more of a striker because of my height advantage.
Right. So okay, you have Morocco and Spain. You say Spain,
Portugal,
and the last one. I'm sorry.
Portugal, Switzerland.
Yeah, Portugal, Switzerland.
I'm going to go for Portugal because of Ronaldo.
Do you think Ronaldo is not as good? Because I think he's going to be leaving Manchester United soon, after all the controversy that happened when he got interviewed by Piers Morgan before the World Cup. The timing was kind of off, though, if you think about it. But you think Ronaldo is the same Ronaldo we're seeing now? He doesn't seem to be as quick. I know he's fit, but is he as fast as he was before, James?
No, he's not. But even during Piers Morgan's show, like, he admitted it himself. He kind of admitted he's not the player he was, and he said that all of us are getting old. We're all old, and it's like you have to be realistic. There's very rare that any player after the age of 35 is the player they were. And like either Ibrahimovic, even Messi. Messi would admit he's not the player he was before. But of course, it's for me that I still say that Ronaldo is number one ever, and then Messi's number two. But just like I think it shows with how much of an impact those two have made, and how influential their careers have been, and I think we're all in denial that it's coming to an end. Like, and it's time for the new younger
Yeah.
generation. It's such a it's a sad way, not a sad way, but it's sad that it's coming to an end, and we're all hoping for that fairy tale ending for either Messi or Ronaldo. That they both, like, either one of them wins the World Cup, or it would be a dream for. I actually haven't checked if it was. I'll check later if it's possible for them to be in the final, or will it be semi-finals facing each other. But yeah, it's he's not the player he was, but he'll admit it himself. He said, like, he's not the player he was, but if anything, as you get older, you become a smarter player. You become a smarter player. Even watching him last night against Korea, I can see the runs he makes, his positioning. He's such an intelligent player, and it's like, yeah, he's not physically the player he was, but he can still produce. And I said this, like, he won't be getting the ball and running it past players, but if you give him the service in the right areas, he'll score goals. This is why he could, like, yeah, he's no longer officially now no longer with Manchester United, and I think the time is, you can see the tactical way of it all coming out, like, just out of the, like, just with Manchester United before the World Cup, and so he can just focus on playing. And you can see him smiling right in the training right before the tournament, and see how happy he is. I think because he just got that all off his chest, and that the world knows what he's thinking. But yeah, it's sad, but yeah, it'll be their last World Cup. But yeah, Portugal for me will win against Switzerland.
Do you think there's going to be a player? You think Mbappe, who's the up and comer, or well, he's I think considered to be the best player in the world now. Do you think he'll reach the heights that Messi and Ronaldo have reached in their peak, years?
I don't think they will. I think Mbappe and Haaland are the two players you could say, like, who us fans would like to see be the new Ronaldo and Messi. But I think just the how would I say it? For one, no disrespect, Mbappe with PSG playing, the competition's not the same as playing in the Premier League, like French league. It's like PSG are just going to dominate that league, and it's really more like that league is being used to train PSG for the Champions League. I like the likes of, like, Ronaldo, like what Ronaldo accomplished at Manchester United was just, it was like him and Messi. They would produce things that were out of this world, that would you just dream of. But like Mbappe, like he's done so well to, like, achieve so much great things at a young age. But I kind of see, like, unless he goes to the Premier League, it kind of won't be at the same level, getting to the same level as Messi or Ronaldo. And Haaland, he's already made the right step to go to Man City and play with those great players, and just get the ball in the box for him, and he'll score goals. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him as well. If either one of them, Mbappe or Haaland, ends up at Real Madrid, so that's something you never know. That's what the great thing about football is. It's even people who've been involved in the game for years. They'll make predictions, but they won't be right. They may not be right. It's so hard to call it and predict it.
Our good friend Relly San Agustin is watching.
Hi, Relly.
For
he actually looked like he had a great time in Qatar.
Yeah, he did. Like, I saw the photos where green with envy. Really, he got to watch, like, the guy we're talking about, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
and also he saw Messi playing for Argentina live. So I'm sure that's a treat.
yeah, exactly. Awesome. That's what I mean. Like, as well, I can tell you about my brother. My brother, he has like, there's one thing my brother always wanted to do, and he was quite upset this year that, like, when it happened. But my brother, he always said he always wanted to watch Roger Federer live. Like, and then you had Roger Federer just retired this year. But yeah, like, you never know, Phil. Like I said, But you never know. Like there could be a charity game that you can watch. Of course, it's not the same as Wimbledon, but it's great that rarely got to see. Like it's so great to see these players live. And what's great about seeing these players live is you get to see what they do off the ball. The camera doesn't show when you're watching on TV. The camera doesn't show what players do off the ball, and it's great to see they're what they're doing off the ball, because it's really you just see the genius in them, like the Messi, Ronaldo, what they do when the camera's not on them. So it's very cool.
How quick is the game, James? You having experience playing against world class players before. How different is it for ordinary folks who play on the pitch every Sunday compared to like the speed of the game for the professionals? Like how fast is it when you're there playing against these quality players?
Well, yeah, when I was at Chelsea, I trained with like some of the other boys. You train with the youth team, and then you train with the reserve, like the B team, and then you'll get a call up now and then to come and join in with the first team. So I was lucky enough to join in with the likes of Drogba, John Terry, Frank Lampard, and Joe
Right.
Cole. And Mourinho was coaching the sessions, and you join in, and it's like you go from like you go like you, how would I say this? Like you go from let's say you go from level 7 to all of a sudden level 20 in one day, and it's just like it's the level so high that you have to think quicker, you have to move quicker, everything has to be done quicker. It's one where if you're not used to it, it's a struggle. But like anything, the more you do something, the more you get used to it. You adapt to struggle. You adapt to it, and you learn. It's like I'm not saying it's driving, but it's like driving a car. The first time you drive a car, it's nervous, it's scary, but once you do it more, you get used to it. It becomes easier. I remember Steve Clark telling me that. Like so, it's always you just got it's if you get lucky to get the opportunity to play at a high level, and you just got used to it. And it's just so valuable that experience. So yeah, it's so that's when I watched the likes of the World Cup game, speed. I'm like, wow, like if I went into that right now, I reckon after 1 minute, I'm done. I'm done.
James, when people ask, like, when you watch the Azkals play against like teams like Vietnam or Indonesia, and then sometimes they feel like they're harried, and I don't know, it's probably the speed of play, and we tend to sometimes compare the team, right, the Philippine team to like like a powerhouse, how Spain plays, where the game seems slow because they're controlling the ball. Why can't Do you think the Philippine team will reach that level where they can control the ball, where they don't have to hurry much and do long passes and stuff, or do fast plays and run all the time? What's the deal about that? Like, how do you explain the difference in terms of how certain teams can control the ball really well? And does the level of play matter, or the quality of players that you have?
Um, it's well, I'll go back to. I forgot to add one more thing. Like when we talk about the players, like I remember when LA Galaxy came here to the Philippines
Yeah,
and played against David Beckham, and it was me and
we were
Phil.
there.
Yeah, I thought you would be like. We got to like me and Phil like. So this is like me and Phil growing up, and I think your number one idol growing up your whole life, like the one who inspired you to pursue football for a career, you get to play against them, or so you get to act in a movie with them, and like we, you see David Beckham, and you think, oh yeah, why don't they tackle him? And when you play against him, his movement is so good. It's like you couldn't get near him, and he's because he's such an intelligent player, and like the way he moves when he just his quality, like you think, oh, I can do that, and then but when you see it live, what he could do with a ball, it's like nah, I couldn't do that. It's like completely different to when you play against them. And you're like, oh, it's like saying when you watch, I could do better, I could do that, but when you try it. No, I can't. Like, but yeah, going back to what you just said, Ron, about I think when it comes to like, I think we're in this phase now where, similar to Belgium, I think we're sort of rebuilding, especially after the pandemic. We've sort of had to, like, I think restart, rebrand the new, like, start again with in terms of developing young players. I think, yeah, the pandemic really, like, hit everything, like, sports wise, especially here in the Philippines. And for us to, I think, like, for us to kind of catch up again with likes of Vietnam, even Singapore and Thailand, we really have to, yeah, get the right things in place. And, like, I think we'll get there. It's just a matter of time. And I think it was at Singapore. Oh no, Vietnam. I think it might have been Singapore and Vietnam. During this period, during the World Cup, like during this, they had the friendlies against Borussia Dortmund. Like, Borussia Dortmund are a very high level team, and these players from these countries, again, used to playing against high opposition, and this will benefit them when they play in the likes of the Mitsubishi Cup coming up. And like, so I think for us, it's we will get there, but it'll take a bit of time and just getting the right game plan in place. And it'll be hard at first, but I think once we get the right core, the right group of players playing regularly together, then it's possible.
What do you think of the Filipinas, the
Oh,
our women's Philippine team who's going to the World Cup next year?
yeah, I think it's amazing what they've done. It's great, really, because it's been, like, great that there's more interest of more awareness of women's football, especially like it's. I got to go to, when I went back to the UK. I got to watch the Chelsea women's team play against Tottenham, and it was so good to see in the stands with us, um, young, like, uh, young girls, the ages of how old, from 8 years old to 15 years old, and watching these girls and being inspired to get involved in football and look to play the game. So I think it's been great that our Filipinos have done well. Like, and the thing is, they've done well because, well, I think done well is an understatement. They've done amazing. It's winning the AFF, and then getting the bronze medal in the Sea Games. It's been great that they've got the results, and now there's the interest. And I think, yeah, there's more sponsors interested in them, and it's great to see that there's the awareness now. And I think in general as well, like women's sports, you had Lin, who she got the Olympic gold, and it's inspiring to see women's sport develop here. Like, and yeah, it's I hope and look forward to it continuing, and it's exciting that we'll get to see them in July play against the World Elite in the World Cup. So that'll be a good one to watch.
Well, I hope they do well.
Yeah, me too.
That's going to be really good for the sport if they do.
Yeah.
Uh, finally, James, I just wanted to ask you what made you love the sport and why you would encourage the younger kids to take it on. If because obviously it starts with the grassroots. We have to have kids who will become crazy about football and really pursue it. I know
Yeah.
it's hard to get in the Philippine team. It's going to take so much hard work. But for you growing up, what made you love the sport? How would you encourage others or kids to actually enjoy it?
Um, what made me love about the sport is, sorry, just to clarify, sorry, I'm in darkness here. It got a bit dark and I forgot to turn the light on. um, what made me love the sport was it was something I could share with my family. But, like, I think that I got to do it with my brother. I got to like like I wasn't alone pursuing it. Like, I and then I get to watch the sport with my mum, my dad, and my brother, and eventually our younger sister, and we'd watch it on TV, and it was a great time to spend together and enjoy it. Like, now I see the World Cup on, I see people in the bars. even us talking online in groups about it, and everyone involved in it, and it's a great way to socialize. But yeah, I think I enjoyed it, and it was a great way for me to, if I had problems elsewhere, like it was a great thing to take my mind off it, and it was really good for my mental health to just play the game and forget about all the problems for a little bit. And yeah, it's such a great thing. And I think now, now that I've retired, I just look for ways to. I think one of the problems we have here is there's maybe not enough places for kids to play the sport. That's why I said my mission is now to find ways or just get kids playing the game. And I think yeah, it's like there's great potential here. Just the opportunity is a bit behind in terms of facilities. Like I said, it's always for me. It's always saddening. It's like a death when I hear they're going to knock down a football field for a building. It's like I understand it, but it's like oh well, it's just the way it is. But yeah, I think that's what made me love football so much, that it was something I got to enjoy with other people.
We really appreciate you, James. I mean, the things that you've done for the sport here in the Philippines. We were such big fans up to now. Even if you're retired already, we are looking forward to how the sport's going to progress, and we're hoping that a lot of these the kids now, or this generation, will take on the sport, and they really appreciate it. I think you don't have to be tall to play the sport, right, James?
Yeah. No, definitely. I think watch the best players in the world are small. Look at we always say this, like a Messi, Maradona. You can play it. Just there's advantages in the game. I'm quite tall, so I would just play as a striker and win the headers. But then, for me, you got smaller players, and because they're so quick on the ball, and it's just it's different aspects of the game, really. So play as much as you can, guys, and enjoy it.
Thank you so much, James. We'll
Thanks,
see you again on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely.
We appreciate it.
I could talk here for hours about football.
But hopefully you can join us again. Hopefully you can join us again here.
Let me know.
On
Maybe
the
we
blog.
can talk before the quarters or the semis and see how the
we should. Yeah, we should. Yeah, we're trying to invite the Azkals team to join us next week. Hopefully you can join us as well. You have. Can you say just a liner for RepublicAsia? Thank you for viewing RepublicAsia. For check out the website. Check out the website of RepublicAsia, RepublicAsiaMedia.com.
This is James Younghusband. Thank you so much, RepublicAsia. Make sure to check out the website. What's the website again called?
RepublicAsiaMedia.com.
Yeah, check out RepublicAsiaMedia.com. I said that right, yeah.
All right. You know what? You should do it again. So, we just have you on the screen.
Yeah. Hi, guys. This is James Younghusband. Want to give a big shout out and a thank you to RepublicAsia. Make sure to check out the website, RepublicAsiaMedia.com, and enjoy the World Cup, guys.
All right, James. Thank you so much, man. See you soon.
See you soon, man. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup.
Cheers. Good luck tonight.
Bye.
Bye.